of what this foundation claims. It is £29 from Boots. There's 40 shades that it comes in. It's a buildable, full coverage, hydrating foundation balm with a light wear, long wear formula, and it's a fresh matte finish. And the packaging is also fully recyclable, which I love. It's infused with apple extract, which helps nourish the skin. This foundation also is supposed to help minimize the appearance of pores, and it is also supposed to give the skin a smooth, healthy look. Plus, it's non-comedogenic. I can never say that word. It's supposed to be non-cakey, flashback free, and it's supposed to help cover blemishes and discoloration for an instant confident boost. So in terms of how to use, it says that you can blend and build the desired coverage using either a beauty sponge or a dense foundation brush. And you use a patting motion for the fullest coverage. And you can also use it with your fingers to like spot conceal. And for oily areas, they recommend to set it in place with some sort of setting powder. Now, I actually did a reel over on my Instagram page where I tested this out just as like my first impressions, and I really liked the way that it looked. However, I applied it with this brush right here, which is the number 10 Kat Von D brush. I don't actually think it's officially called Kat Von D anymore. It's called KVD Beauty, but apologies if I keep calling it Kat Von D. But this is a super dense brush, and it's kind of like angled, so it's like thinner at this end. Now, I personally don't really apply my foundations with brushes, so I'm going to be using my damp beauty blender to do this. And I actually used this shade, medium 027, for my Instagram video, but I felt like it was a little bit too light. So instead, I'm going to be using medium 033, and hopefully this will be a bit of a better match for me. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, I'm going to prep my skin because I haven't done that already. I'm first going to get some moisturizer onto my face. Get this nice and blended out. And as always, I'm filming in natural daylight, so you guys can see exactly what this looks like on skin. Hopefully that will be as close to the naked eye as possible. So skin is nice and moisturized. When I wore this foundation, I hadn't really moisturized properly, and I felt like it looked a little bit cakey around my mouth, and obviously because of the brush as well. That's why I wanted to go in with a beauty blender. I'm very quickly going to prime my skin as well. I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer here, and I'm just gonna get this all over as well. So this is what the foundation looks like. It is very shiny, and it is kind of like a balm texture. I kind of don't want to poke it yet, actually. This is what it looks like once you obviously start using it, but it's got a really nice, like, thick, balmy consistency. And it does feel like a cream once you've like got it on your skin. But as you can see, that is like coverage. Like the coverage is just, it's crazy. So much pigment in there. I have not used this with a beauty blender yet, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this applies and how this lasts on my skin for the next 8 hours or so with my damp beauty blender. I guess now I'm just going to go straight into it and start getting this onto my skin. If you guys want to see what it looks like with a dense brush, then I will leave a link to my Instagram video in the description box below. But I guess I'm just going to go straight in to this guy with my damp beauty blender. I think I'm just gonna go squidge it in there. Look at that. Maybe I shouldn't have put that much on there, but it's okay. We're gonna roll with it. I suppose I'll do one half of my face first, and then we can just compare. I'm gonna get this onto one side of my face. I'm gonna bounce it in place and just make sure it's nice and blended, and then we can compare the two sides. This is what it looks like currently on my face. It is such full coverage. It doesn't feel like I've got anything on my skin, which is what I love. However, I feel like I could have just blended this out very easily and done my whole face with this. So now I'm gonna try and fix this and try and get it onto the other side without one side looking thicker or fuller coverage than the other. So I'm just gonna try and see if I can move it around. But it's covered up any kind of redness that I had around my nose. It's covered up pretty much all of my freckles, especially on the side that I went really heavy on. But I actually prefer this side, which has not as much product on the sponge. But I'm just going to do my best to try and blend it out as much as I can. I think this is as good as I'm going to get and get it as even as possible. I can definitely see a few of my little freckly areas kind of peeking through, but overall, I feel like we've got it as even as possible. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see exactly how my skin is looking. So this is the side where I had to kind of like even things out. It looks pretty much flawless, if I say. I've got like a little spot here, it's fully covered it up. Seeing as I have a lighter shade, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that underneath my eyes. And I'm just gonna use it as concealer. And instantly it is like brightened that area. To the point where like, my like dark circles have fully gone. I'm gonna do the same to the other eye. I actually really like that as concealer. And if you're wondering, the lighter shade that I've used is medium 27 underneath my eyes. And I'm also just gonna apply that to the other areas that I like to brighten my face, like my forehead and my chin. So this is what it's looking like further away. And I genuinely think this looks obviously very full coverage, but very even on my skin. If you guys have been watching any of my recent videos or follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've been loving very lightweight, really natural coverage in general for foundations. I've been using a lot of tinted moisturizers and things like that recently. I've been really loving like the light coverage life, but this makes me want to fall in love with full coverage foundation all over again. This for me isn't like an everyday face. This for me would be like something for an event or for a special